Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, do I have a video for you today? We're going to be talking about Barbara and what she can do. She's a very special young lady, and we're going to be talking about what to do and what not to do with her, because I see a lot of people using certain things on her that make absolutely zero sense, and I don't want you to do that. So we're going to try to avoid that for you, okay? Just follow along with me, and you're going to be just fine. So the number one thing I see people doing with Barbara is they come over to the blacksmith at some point in the game, and they see that they can here, let me obtain these real quick. They see that they can craft this, and this is a very, very good weapon. Do not get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad weapon, but on Barbara, it actually is a terrible weapon. It's pretty much the worst weapon you can use on... Nah, I won't say the worst. It's a bad weapon to use on Barbara, and I'm going to tell you why. So, it does, using an elemental burst regens 4 energy every 2 seconds for 6 seconds. Additionally, all party members will regen 4% HP for 2 seconds for that duration. And it's got HP, got base attack. Well, actually, does it have HP? Or is that random every time? Because, okay, it does have HP. So, it's decent on Barbara because it does have the HP stat. If you didn't know, Barbara scales with her HP. So she's going to be healing more efficiently if you have a very, very high HP on her. What's going on here? Give me that. So, instead of using that, like most people do, because first of all, if we read that first part again, it says that it's an elemental burst. It only is effective if your character has an elemental burst ability. Barbara doesn't even have an elemental burst ability, believe it or not. Actually, she does. It's her Q, which pretty much full heals your entire team already. So, it's pretty much useless to use that weapon on her. And I'm going to show you the best weapon you can put on her. And I'm going to say that it's the best because, of course, a 5-star is going to be the best. But not everybody can get 5 stars, so rather than saying, oh, 5 stars the best, just get the 5-star, nerd, ha! And I'm not going to say that. What you want to do is use this weapon right here. So, Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. Everybody has this book. I guarantee you will have this book. If you're over, like, maybe level 5, you'll probably come across this book at some point. And I've, got so many extras. Like, I've got all these extras, plus this one right here that I'm using right now, which it's only level 40. It's very sad, I know. But the great thing about Barbara is she doesn't need to be super, super leveled up, powered up, or any of that jazz to be a super duper good unit. She is entirely good just being underleveled. Like, you don't need to overlevel her like a lot of people do as well. A lot of people level her with her entire team, which is fine, but she doesn't necessarily need to be level 70. She doesn't need to be level 80. She doesn't need to be anything crazy like that. She's literally just a support. So, unless she's struggling to heal your team, I would not recommend to fully level her like that. But, like I said, use this weapon. This weapon is insanely good on her. When switching characters, the new character taking the field has their attack increased by almost 50% for 10 seconds. That can occur once every 20 seconds, so that's 10 seconds of downtime. So you have a 10-second buff of 50% attack, and it transfers between all your characters. So for example, I have her out right now. If I switch, you'll see I have the little up arrows now. And it was switching. Apparently it doesn't actually. But I thought that it did, so never mind. Why do I keep getting this dang quest? I don't want this quest. This pops up every time I come to this area. Go away. And let's talk about artifacts for Barbara now. So, the artifacts that you want to use are not the artifacts that I have on. These are pretty terrible. The sets are good, but the actual artifacts that I have on her, do not try to follow that along because that's not what you necessarily want. So this is a very janky setup on Barbara right now, and I'm only doing this out of necessity. If I had better artifacts, I would definitely be using them, but I just don't honestly want to spend the time to go get them because Barbara is not a main unit that I'm focusing on in the game currently. So let's go ahead and look at the first one. So we'll look at the flower. We've got the troops Dawnlight. So it's actually the Wanderer's troop set. And that is a very, very good set to have on her. I would say one of the best sets to have on her because the 2 set increases elemental mastery by 80. There is another set that does this, however, and that is the instructor set. That is much easier to get, much more common. So you can use either one. The reason that I'm using the Wanderer's troop is because I have this 5-star, which really honestly makes no sense, but I don't have anyone else to put it on, and it's my only 5-star artifact, I think. It might be one of my only 2. Okay, so yeah, I've got 2. And this is something I wanted to power up because it's a 5-star, obviously. So the only main reason it's good on her is because of the energy recharge. If you look on the right side, 16.2% is pretty good, but defense is garbage. You want HP. So if I had the right artifact on her, I would be putting either the Wanderers or the Instructor set with HP percent on everything. And substats I'm going to talk about in a whole different video, but basically I can tell you real quick that substats during endgame, early game doesn't matter so much. Endgame, you want to make sure you're getting percents in all of your substats if possible. Like using artifacts that have no percents late game is a huge mistake. Like this one's decent. That's pretty bad. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Endgame, this is an absolutely garbage artifact. Terrible. Defense +9, attack +9, those are terrible. You don't want that endgame at all. You want percents, and it's just going to scale way, way more. But if you're under level 30, I wouldn't really worry about that. I'm going to make a whole separate video about that. So if you're interested, please do hit the subscribe button. It would really, really help me out. I would really appreciate that. And while you're at it, you might as well go follow my Twitch. We play all kinds of different games on there, not just Genshin. We're gaming all the time. Now, let's go look at the second artifact, which is Berserker's Feather. Oh, jeez. I was not prepared for this video. I was not prepared. This is not what you want on Barbara. This is pretty much one of the worst things. I'm going to go ahead and say it is the worst thing you can put on Barbara, actually. There's pretty much nothing worse you can put on her. What you really want, ideally, is to have the Wanderer's Troop / Instructor set, because they do the same thing for the 2 set. And obviously, like the HP, like we talked about. And then you want this, the Maiden's Beloved set. This set is the set you want on any healer. It's amazing. The 4 set's pretty good too, but I honestly don't feel like it's good enough for Barbara. Maybe on certain characters it would be better, but I haven't had a chance to mess with any other healers. So this 2-piece is going to be insanely good on her. You want the 2-piece 100%, and there's several ways you can get these Maidens sets, and one of them is actually just through the book. Through this book, like this, if you look in the left on the rewards, you're going to get a whole bunch of those. So it's pretty easy to get, and then once you're a higher level, obviously they become farmable at some point. So that's really no big deal. They're very easy to get, so get those and put them on her. The Maiden set is insanely good. Trust me, you're going to want it. And like I said before, you want HP. Like, this is a great. Actually, it's not great. The Elemental Mastery and the substats is good. The HP is the main stat is insanely good. However, like I said, crit rate is also like really bad. Like, you don't want crit rate on any healers or crit damage on any healers. That's just a total waste. But, you know, it's fine. She heals all of my characters just fine. So, and if you really can, like, the best possible combination you could do would probably be the Maiden set, and then any other 2 set would work. Whatever you like would work, but I like, personally, the Elemental Mastery. Ideally, you want these 4 to be artifacts, and then this 5th one, you want to be a Tiara artifact. If you didn't know, Tiaras drop from, I believe, most bosses, and you get a 1-piece set effect, and basically you're affected by whatever element it is for 40% less time, which is insanely good. So ideally you'd have the 4 artifacts and then the Tiara here. Now that's not exactly super easy to do, because like I don't have any Maiden that I could even really use. Like, I'm not going to put this on her because this is attack. So you want the tiara if possible. Okay, so go for that. Go for the 4 and then go for the tiara. But that's really only if you're trying to perfect her. Okay, don't go insane with this because trust me, you do not need to. She's excellent on her own. Let's see if we can find some enemies real quick, though. I just want to show you guys how good that book on her actually is. So it's going to give me a 50% damage increase. We're going to go over here. Don't forget to grab the fruits on the way. You have to grab the fruits. I almost said foots. Foots? I don't think that's a thing. So we got Barbara out. We're going to switch. We're going to start out doing 680, 630, 800. Okay, that's obviously too much to even. 700. So it's about 800. We'll call it 700. It's about 700 per first hit. Now I still have the damage buff. As soon as that wears off, I'll be able to compare that. And it should wear off any point. Please, please wear off. Okay. So it's a lot less. That was like 100 less damage. And obviously it just scales more and more the higher damage you're doing. So like, yeah. So it's insane. Use that book. I swear it's literally the best book you could possibly put on Barbara. I'm gonna die here. I'm actually gonna die here. Not like this. Don't judge me for using Amber. Please. She's really not that bad, okay? Give me a break. Give me a break. Can these things? Sir. You don't kill my Chongyun. I don't accept that. Chongyun doesn't die. Unless I want him to. I actually needed those bones. That's actually pretty convenient. Hey, can you stop? Alright, thank you. Oh, there's 2 more. Oh, gee. Alright, well. Cut to when this is over. In a couple days. Okay, now that that's finally over. Good lord. Those things are probably one of the most annoying things to fight in this game. They just roll around the entire time. That's pretty much everything for Barbara, so we don't really need to talk about her talents. Obviously, if you skill her up, she's going to be insanely good. Like, with any person in this game, skill ups are pretty much everything. Like, skill ups can be like a 500 damage increase. Like, they can be even more than that. It's crazy how good skill ups are. Don't forget to skill them up, obviously. And Constellation, of course, we don't really need to go over that either, because that's pretty obvious, self-explanatory. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this review of Barbara, and now if I helped you at all, if you now know what to do with her, because she's actually pretty dang insane, I'm not gonna lie. She's pretty much the best healer. She's one of the only healers, but one of the best and most easily obtained healers, so thank you guys so much for watching. I'm rambling. I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Please also subscribe and also check out the links in the description if you're interested in watching some other gaming videos and stuff like that. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.